Hello, happy people.
Swapna, we are very glad to be part of this Thop.
Yes, Divya, really.
Vivek sir is a multi-talented person.
Vivek sir is a gentleman.
Vivek sir is a legend.
Vivek sir is an extraordinary person.
Vivek sir is a great personality.
Divya, we shared very less compliments about Vivek Garu.
Yes, Swapna, true. This is the time to present our story presentation. Deepthi, go ahead.
Swapna, let us start with our invocation. Chandanana, would you like to?
Powerful we are, compassionate we are, genius we are, adventurous we are, disruptive we are, distinctive we are, beautiful we are, revolutionaries we are, empathetic we are, courageous we are, grateful we are, attentive we are, learners we are, incitement we are, rebellious we are, artful we are, inspiring we are, leaders we are, zealous we are, compassionate we are, champion we are.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Chandanana.
Thank you, Chandanana, for your powerful reciting our invocation. Your graceful voice made our invocation even more impactful. Stories are those invisible frames that form the basic of the way things are preserved in this world. You might have heard many discrete, distinctive stories from your parents, grandparents, friends, books, and of course, movies too. I repeat discrete, distinctive stories because they just talk about only one or two phases of an individual's life. But as humans, we crave to experience the hidden magical conspiracies of the universe to make who we are today. Thus, here we are today to give you the holistic experience of our holistic, divine journey of achieving big dreams. A journey that marked its revolutionary start 4 years back and is now passing on the legacy of striving to be in the top 0.001% of happy people. So, are you ready to experience a heavenly metaphorical raid of our journey, our story in the form of murmuration of those adorable starlings? Why late? Then let's start. Over to you, starlings.
Hey yo, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good like always, nothing much. How are you? How
Awesome.
is it possible that you always seem super energized and lively every time I meet you all?
Ha ha ha. Let me tell you our story. Our story of fantastic murmuration. Our team of vibrant, enthusiastic, like minded super starlings who want to be in the top 1% of euphoric, high spirited, happy birds. Starlings who want to extend their wings to explore the limitless sky. Super starlings who are a beautiful exemplification of serendipity, a flock that flies with love, floats with compassion, leads with passion, and lives with gratification.
Wow, a murmuration? Where is it and what is it about?
It is right here, embedded in everyone, but very few embrace it. Our top murmuration is the embodiment of incredible values, a powerful mission, and a breathtaking vision to change the world and be the change we want to be. It's not possible alone. It needs a huge support system, an ecosystem to express, and a culture to live in. Top culture. Yes, we all strive to live our values of assisting each other to fly and reach our destinations, our goals, and our big dreams. We are a team of servant leads who outwork everyone in the team and give our best to provide value to others. We fly in a decentralized web of heart to heart connections, which forms a strong foundation of our unity. We are independently dependent on each other. Our murmuration embraces starlings of different colors, different sizes, and different ages. We believe every super starling is unique and beautiful in its own way. We admire each and every bird in the flock irrespective of their odds. As a disruptive team, we rise to traverse heights with the strong belief in our minds to make the impossible possible. We are passionate to explore all extreme peaks, seamless seas, crisp deserts, and floral springs. Migrations also include birds of various species. We believe that interactions with new birds every time bring in new energy and open the doors to make miracles happen. We are grateful for every moment they have been part of our flock and giving us an opportunity to provide value to them. Every bird from out of the flock tunes in with our song. That is the magic of our ecosystem.
Each and every bird has a unique skill set that is honored with heart. Learning is a continuous process in the flock. We rise up every day to learn something from the world. From an ant to an elephant, everything is a teacher to our ever learning mindset. Learning is always interesting with our super starlings. We learn together with the ultimate resources accessible in the universe. We transmit our knowledge and acquire energy, and we assist each other to become the best versions of ourselves. We persist to fly, we fall, but we don't look at the ground and say it's impossible. We look at the high sky and say we will make it possible. Every obstacle is an opportunity. What is the worst possible scenario? We might end up learning something new, experience the reality of life. We are grateful for every starling that triggers the change in our life, every chance that enriches us to give our best to the world, and every moment that makes us shine as a superstarling. Gratitude is a driving force that attracts the whole universe. Gratitude towards each other enables us to fly in harmony. We care for each other. Each starling happiness matters. We are empathetic towards each and every top starling who is on the path of disruption. As a team, we float with unwavering entropy of emotion. Yes, compassionate we are.
Wow, but how do you manage to have so much positivity and the right mindset every time? Don't you have low days? Is your emotional state always happy and inspired?
Well, it's all because of the platform which we created to express ourselves. Top University, the platform which gives space to each and every super starling in us. Vulnerable starling in excited starling in us, learner starling in us, grateful starling in us, and whatnot. We believe that every one of us has our own way of perceiving things and experiencing them and expressing them. Thop University is an umbrella of the wild and colorful dreams of our Thop starlings. Every day at 7 p.m., the flock gathers together and settles down at their comfort and gets transported to the world of expression. We proudly call these gatherings Thop Obsessions. Whereas Wednesday at 7 p.m. and Sundays at 9 a.m., we have a guest bird either from our murmuration or from different murmurations, expressing themselves and sharing their wisdom to empower us with their life experiences. We proudly call them Top Talks.
But do you think that every starling is going to carry this positivity and feel good emotion all through their day?
Good question. We may not carry the feel good emotion for the whole day, but it's our instinct to tend towards positivity, look for inspiration with our flock. And that's where our top podcasts, our pleasing and soothing cheer ups of the flocks come into action and light up our moods on our emotional down days.
Soon, we are also going to create another platform called Thop Publication, where we want to give space to each and every starling to come out of their comfort zone, get inspired to inspire the world with their art of chirping, but this time in writing. Again, this idea is going to be pursued by two of our young, aspiring, ardent starling entrepreneurs.
This is an amazing way of building and strengthening connections between flocks of not only our mindset but of different mindsets too. I noticed that every activity you do has the same set of core values followed by every starling. And this is certainly creating a brand of your flock among other species.
That's true, though. Starting from our top talks to our top monthly celebrations, we are carrying our ecosystem, our values, and our top culture everywhere. We admire our culture so much that now it's part of every cell of every super starling. We just don't exist, we coexist. We live every moment to the fullest. Every day is a top day of excitement. Just imagine compiling all our proud achievements and memorable days and celebrating them. We fondly call it as the top monthly celebrations.
Top monthly celebration? What is it actually?
Starlings love to fly in the sunset sky, but we, being a disruptive murmuration of starlings, love to not only enjoy the sunset skies of all days, but also acknowledge each and every moment. We fly higher and higher in the sky. We love to celebrate each and every accomplishment of our super starlings, be it small or big. It has now become our monthly routine to gather on the first Sunday of every month and spread the happiness of our fellow starlings' success. Top monthly celebrations not only lauds the achievements but also celebrates birthdays of every super starling. Okay, starling, bye for now. Let us meet at Top City.
Hey, what is this Top City? This is such a noble thought of celebrating each other's success. I am astonished by the unrealized and priceless happiness you are creating in this world. Top murmuration is definitely going to leave a mark in this creation.
Brand is not a tag that a murmuration or a flock strives to create. it's a it's an it is the expression of emotions that a murmuration makes you feel, which eventually leads to creation of the brand. It is the impact we strive to inspire the world. It is the ecosystem that every starling in this world desires to live in. It is the culture that pursues them to be the best version of themselves. And it is the value that the brand adds every day to their lives, which in turn creates the brand itself. Our Thop brand is humble yet powerful way and depicting our Thop team, our Thop accomplishments, and our Thop culture. By the way, the word Thop was born from the local Telangana dialect, which means simply out of the world. Whatever we create in this world, be it individually, being a part of Thop family, as a Thopisel family, or as a aspiring CEOs of the Thop companies, we will be under our proud Thop brand. Every move is disruptive. Every action is revolutionary. What else does the world need? Our flock of hearts is incomplete without our parents, our support, and our extraordinary mentors, the torch bearers of our spectacular moves.
Dreaming of flying high is an easy thing, but it needs humongous determination and perseverance to make it a reality. In this journey of fulfilling our desires, we need parent starlings to support us and top mentor starlings guide us through all the highs and lows. We believe that every super starling needs an ecosystem around them to be itself, get over the inhibition, and come out with flying colors. Our Future Together program gives us this essential space where every starling of each flock comes forward to collaborate and pave their paths to reach new heights.
In the meantime, super starlings learn to create their opportunities of interacting and collaborating with flocks of other species. Their flexibility and adaptability to different cultures followed by different species gives them the wonderful opportunity to explore, experience, and enlive many beautiful dimensions of this world. This way, our starlings provide value to other flocks while learning something new from each and every moment. Top collaboration of companies is an instrumental idea in fulfilling and relishing the joy of developing these unique embellishments to reach new heights every day. It provides the desired and essential space, environment, and culture to refine the entrepreneurial skill set that exists in each and every one of us. These collaborations are for a greater cause of starting up our own top companies in the next few months under the orchestration of superstarling CEOs of already existing companies. Every day, we are blossoming with new ideas and creating opportunities to spread our wings wide. These are then these are then immediately resulting in a unique conglomerate of superstarling from the different flocks, where the experienced starlings are accustomed to assisting us by using their experiences. Hey Starling, this is about our future together, collaboration of companies, and our Thop brand. You can experience more in our Thop city. Let's meet in our Thop city.
Hey, tell me about Top City. Why you are flying away? Okay. I am awe-inspired with the way you pamper and respect each and every starling of your murmuration. I can clearly see a big picture of the world you have been creating for 4 years. This wouldn't have been easy, isn't it?
But guess what? When we are signed up for bigger things, we tend to see the rest of all things from bird's eye perspective. Then naturally, our personal goals seem tiny in front of the personal challenges seem tiny in front of the ambitious goals we have set for ourselves as a murmuration. Indeed, we are on the path of serendipity, and this is a pulsating journey of defying the law of nature by defining the nature itself. Do you want to know about Thop City? Come, let us meet all starlings in the Thop City.
But what it is and where it is. I'm curious to know about Thorpe City, but every starling is flying away.
Wait. I will take you to Thop City. But before that, this is not only our story, but this is our 4 years of hard work. This is our top ideas of disruption book where we compiled all our disruptive ideas. We are still working on it and we will reach 110 ideas soon. These are our top accomplishments. Some were super successful, some sustained, some did not even sustain. But who cares? We are here for what we are happy for what we have accomplished, and we are ready to accomplish more, learn more, explore more, and experience more. Darlings, now I will take you to our Thorpe City. Thorpe City, designing our own world. A revolutionary idea to design our own world, our own city, our Thorpe City. But wait, first of all, why do we want to design our own city? To disrupt the way cities have been assumed, to disrupt the way cities have been built. Yes, our city, a place where our homes are our laboratories and our colonies are our test beds, and manifest a decentralized web of networks where we want to devise an ecosystem and spread our Thop culture all around the world, where we want to fabricate our own Thop University and be lifelong enthusiastic learners, where we want to create our own currency and be financially independent, financially untied to pursue our big dreams, where we make every moment of life special and be a stress free bee, where we want to spread our wings and fly high. You might think, is this even possible, or are we nuts to envision such a heavenly picturesque of our future? Yes, we are mad to make a difference in this world. We want to be seamlessly obsessed by making our Thorpe City possible.
What a beautiful place you have. I could see drone systems, sustainable environment, and many more. I would love to join the Thorpe journey and also Thorpe City. Thank you so much, Starlings, for introducing me to this beautiful murmuration. I learned a lot from all you today. Blown away with your ever learning mindsets. All the best, Starlings.
Wow, Starlings. That was a lucid presentation by Thorpe Murmuration. But what is this murmuration? Who are these young starlings? Yes, this is who we are. Team Thopisel. We are these young starlings striving to touch sky high limits, dreaming big, making the impossible possible. And this is our story. Thank you so much for listening to our 20-minute presentation. And let us end the presentation with a video. Please play the video, Vivu. Thank you. Signing off, Team Topi Cell.
Wow, such a great thing. Vivek sir, do you have any comments or thoughts?
Well, I'm still reeling from what's been offered. It's overwhelming. I'm I'm still absorbing what you guys are saying. It's like, wow. I think I see you guys combining two very different ends of the spectrum. You're combining your dreams, your goals, with your attitude about your personal growth. And I don't think you find that very many places these days where you combine both ambition and divinity together. So I'm very happy about that for you guys. And I think you're sort of conveying the message that you're all doing it together in a very disparate environment. I think that's kudos. When I was your age, I mean, things were much more simpler. We were basically interested in finding who the good-looking girls were. That's it. I'm sorry, but you guys are much more deeper thinkers,
Vivek, they do that too.
Okay. But Shravan, I think excellent job. I'm impressed. Wow.
Thank you. We really do believe that this is the template for the new generation. And we really believe that we can combine the physical and the spiritual parts, or the material and the spiritual parts, in a very, proper way. Because what we have done is the material part, we have made it either, we have sort of given an ugly connotation, and then we have made spiritual, spiritual dimension or spiritual experiences as away from the communal experiences. So here, what we are doing is we are combining both. We are saying material experiences can be part of the spiritual journey, and we are proving it. We are showing that team working together. We always believe in heart-to-heart connections. We don't get up in the morning and say, somehow we have to make this happen. No, we say, how can we win someone's heart? If it takes us 5 years, that's fine. But we will win the person's heart, so that way they know, because winning the heart is where I think we all want that. That is that experience, or that spiritual experience is what we all crave for. But somehow during the education process, we got muddled and we have forgotten that. But what we have done in this 4 years is we have made that as a priority. So emotional well-being, heart-to-heart connections. We actually work on it. We actually think about it. We talk about it. We talk about it every single day, many, many, many times a single day. And so we have been doing it for 4 years. So thank you for recognizing what we have done, and especially coming from you, who has gone to the mountains, who wanna be national park ranger, and you've seen that. So getting comments from you, the way which we have received from you, is truly, I don't know, though I'm falling short of words right now. So we are really, really happy, Vivek. Thank you very much.
No, I mean it. These are not just empty words. You guys have obviously thought about this very deeply. And at your age, I was not that deep a thinker. You're a better breed than I am.
Just different. Thank you, Vivek. So Swapna and Divya, what is the next part of this? Go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir, for your thoughts and comments.
Swapna, are you excited to listen about Vivek sir?
Yes, Divya, I'm very excited to listen about Vivek, sir.
Violet, I will give a brief about Vivek sir. Wanna know who? An inspiring person, a different maker, a philosopher, a thought-provoking speaker, and the list goes on. Words cannot describe the impact he is making with his way of leading life with exceptional adventures. Wanna see life from the height of mountain? Let us meet the incredible man who ascended many peaks, physically, inspirational, and spiritual in life. He is none other than Mr. Vivek Goswami Garu, who is now ready to give a talk touching on the topics Google Earth, mythology, mindfulness. Swapna, poetry.
Yes, sir. Sir, without your permission, I would like to say one poetry because myself I imagined as Vivek, sir, and I wrote a poetry. Okay. నేను పుట్టగానే కాలేదు ప్రయోజకుడిని ప్రతి ఒక్క కష్టాన్ని ఒక్కొక్క విజయానికి అడుగులా అనుకున్నాను ఓడిపోయాను ఆగలేదు గెలిచాను సరిపోలేదు నేను చెయ్యగలను చేస్తాను అందరూ సంతోషపడేది దట్స్ ఇట్
Wow.
Very thoughtful. I guess
Sir.
you want me to talk after all that.
Sir,
Ma-
now the
you
session
know what?
is yours.
You guys are a hard act
Yes,
to follow.
Vivek, go ahead.
You guys are a hard act to follow. Whenever there's a concert, right, there's usually a setup band and then Sunidhi Chauhan comes on. But I mean, the startup band is so good that I need to bow out and let you guys carry on,
No, no. We really need you. Go ahead, Vivek. It's
Okay.
all yours. We
So-
are all here to listen to you.
But thank you so very much.
Yes, sir.
First of all,
Now
again,
you
a
can
very
go.
happy new year to all of you. And I think basically you look back at the past with gratitude and you look forward with hope. So 22 onwards and beyond, I'm looking forward with hope for all of us and hope that, things change here and things improve. So like you guys, I'm an OUCT graduate. I was there from 74 to 79. I went to Bejwada, which is Andhra Loyola College in 72, 74. And I come from a middle class family. We didn't have a lot of money at that time. And basically, I couldn't have come to the US or done anything. And the job opportunities in India were much smaller back then. So you had to have a laser-like focus to do what you needed to do. So that's what I meant. I was not that deep a thinker. I was basically a capitalist, and I'm still a capitalist until I had a very specific moment, which I'll talk about, an epiphany in Kailash, Mount Kailash, Manus Rover. So everything that I did, whether I got my scholarship and came to the US, I was on my own pretty much. My parents couldn't afford to pay for it. So I used to tutor when I was in college. I'd make money off of that and use the money to put petrol in my scooter. I had a scooter back then. It was called Vijay Pushpak. So that's what I used to. So what I'm saying is you're looking at the future. I came to this country with basically a full scholarship and $200 in my pocket, $100 given to me by my sister and $100 by my father, and a suitcase and full of dreams. And I bootstrapped myself and built myself up. And please recall that I was not the smartest guy in the class. I was one of the backbenchers. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. All of you guys are just now showed me that you're much more deeper thinkers than I am. So the future, like you guys said, is very much accessible. It's open, but you need to step out of your comfort zone, like you guys stated, and get to it. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about, let me share my screen, and I'll go to the specific journey, which was, I spent 6 weeks. This was 2019, 2 years ago. I ended up my career, I started out as a chemical engineer, doing all the engineering simulations and all that, then eventually went into finance. And I essentially wound up as being the assistant to the CEO, and the minister, oil minister in Saudi Arabia. I used to work for Saudi Aramco. So I was the one that led the IPO team. It was the largest IPO in the world at that time, in 2019. It was a $2 trillion IPO, and I was the leader for upstream on it. Keep in mind that I was in Saudi Arabia. I'm not a white boy. I'm a Desi guy, an Indian, which the Saudis look down upon. I'm brown-skinned, as you can see, and I'm a Hindu. So I had all the strikes against me. But still, despite all that, because of my technical grounding and engineering fundamentals were absolutely rock solid for me. Yes, I was a backbencher, but I worked my butt off in getting to understand the fundamentals of engineering and being rock solid about what I do. So never ever let your technical background down. That's the one thing that's going to keep you alive. That will pay the bills when you're 80 years old. But if you keep dreaming with no technical background, you ain't going to cut it. I'm sorry if I'm being blunt, but that's the honest truth. So that's my background to it. I finally wound up, but in 2019, I took this trip. I went out to the Himalayas and I met with a bunch of monks and wandered around there up in the countryside. And then I said, what the hell am I doing this for? Who am I doing it for? I have two boys, an older son who's a resident who's going to be an oncologist, and the second one who's a corporate healthcare guy, and my wife is a doctor. I said, I don't need all this money and stuff. I need to move on. So that's what happened. That's why I quit. And I said, there's got to be a better way. And hopefully I can provide some inspiration and answer your questions to get on with it. Okay, without much ado, let me get to the discussion at hand. So let me know if you guys can see.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So are you able to see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So starting with that, basically, Tashi Dalak, in Tibetan, it means Namaskaram. And the title Compass versus Clock is essentially talking about the compass or moral direction. And as you guys are evolving in your journeys, where are you going from your various stages of life, from student to interns to trainees to management, et cetera, et cetera? How is it coming as a perspective with clock, which is your age? And it can also stand for your moral compass as to which way you're oriented. At age 20, yes, you may be busy chasing women around or guys around, whatever, but as you age, you maybe evolve. Now, the picture of the Rolling Stones on the right-hand side, I'm a classic rock fan. I've always played a guitar and all that. So what the Tibetans do is when they roll up their tongue, they're essentially greeting you. That's what that is for. My favorite person, our blessings. We should look at our health and our relationships. And these are the two things that we come with. Everything else, whether it's money, fame, degrees, beauty, etc., we can all acquire or we can earn. But health and relationship, you really have to do something about that fundamentally and count those as your number 1 and 2 blessings. And the values that I just talked about, which direction are you evolving in as a function of age and where you're going? And Dalai Lama, to me, is epitome of all of that. So this is talking about Himalayan perspectives. You're looking at Lake Pokhara at 2,700 feet. And the Himalayas, basically about a quarter of the world's global freshwater resources are out there. 19 major rivers flow through there, and about 1.7 billion people living in the watershed, all living in less than $2 a day. Water challenges. And think about how lucky all of us are that we have all this technology and everything at our disposal today to be able to do that, and about 7 billion other people who don't have this. So I'm going to look at the starting location over here. So essentially the Himalayas were formed because of the compression of the Eurasian plate from the north and the Indian plate from the south. And notice how green it is in the south, and the white line is basically the Himalayas. And those are the two river basins, Ganges and the Brahmaputra and the Indus. So I don't know if you can see the cursor here, but those white lines that you see down at the bottom of the screen, maybe not. But these lines down here are essentially the Ganges rivers and what I just showed you. Those are the river basins. And those are the rivers that are being formed. See how green everything is on the Indian side and how everything is not green on the Tibetan side. Those are the borders of modern day, geographical borders. So let me just stop here for a minute and I'll go to Google Earth Pro. And if we were to take, for example, Kathmandu, I hope I'm not going to bore you guys to death, but that's Kathmandu down there. And if I step out a little bit, so we're looking north into Tibet from there at an elevation of about 31 miles up in the sky. So Kathmandu is over there, down in that area. Lhasa is somewhere over here to the northeast, and this is the Himalayan range. So some of the areas that I'm going to take you through, for example, today, would be if you're looking at Everest, for example, on the Everest Base Camp, which is where I went. So that's Everest over there, that portion. So this is the Rongbuk Glacier. I was down in that end, and we'll be looking at the Everest from that side, from the south side, looking to the north. North is down in the screen below. So if you look at that, you'll see India on one side, Nepal and all that is so green, and Tibet is so dark brown. There's hardly anything down there. Kailash Parbat is down there. And this is where the spirituality comes in. And this is called Manus Rover, which the Chinese have named something else. And that's what I'll be talking about in this discussion. So this is going off the western part of Pokhara, west of Kathmandu. We're looking at Annapurna Range, as it's called, and Mardi Himal. So this is the base camp. The trek started out about in Pokhara at an elevation of about 2,700 feet, going up to 15,000 feet. It's a length of about 36 miles, about 7 to 9 days. And then from there, going to Annapurna base camp, going to an elevation of 13,600 feet, another 35 miles, and adds about 7 to 9 days. A view from when you come up the first Aussie camp, it's called Aussie camp, at that elevation around 7,000 feet. That's the view you get to see. Every picture on here, by the way, is mine, guys. It's I don't bring stuff in from the net and all that. They're all mine. I started out sometime in May through heavy rains. A lot of leeches and stuff out there, so you're tramping through mud with the backpacks and all that. So leeches are these blood-sucking insects that crawl through your boots, through your jeans. So you carry a little bag of salt to kill them off because they're sucking your blood, and you don't know it. So typically you're averaging about 15 kilometers per day, maybe 20 kilometers per day every single day. This lady, for instance, I saw her at that elevation. She lives in that hut, and she sells tea at 10 rupees at an elevation of 10,000 feet. And she lives there alone. And there's no one to take care of her. And she reminds me of my mother all the time. My mother lived alone after my father died. And I used to say to myself, how fortunate am I compared to what that lady is living on? For me, I mean, it's more of an impact because I live out here. I've been gone from India for about 45 years. That's what the trek looks like. One day it might be, 1 minute it's fine, but the next morning, next minute it'll start raining, for example. So if you're walking out on the trail and you spread your arms out, the trail is narrower than that. Then it suddenly clears and you get to see this. This is called Macha Puchre, which is called Fishtail Mountain in the Annapurna range. This is west of Kathmandu. A typical hike, you start early in the morning with the night lamps and all that. And these are the views you get to see. These are Gangapurna and Annapurna 3 at about 15,000 feet elevation. This was the last shelter that I could see. at 12,000 feet. And this guy is selling again tea, coffee, and maybe biscuits. And you can see the clouds below us, and you come hiking on the left-hand side through that trail which you see along on the ridge. A little. That's the view you get to see. This is Macha Picchu and Annapurna 3. MHBC stands for Mardi Himal Base Camp. Mardi Himal is a mountain that cuts the Annapurna range in the middle. I didn't cut out the sound here. There's no sound because there was hardly any wind blowing at that time. But this is typical view. All of this has been shot with my little iPhone. Right after I took this, and you can see on the east where the sun is, the clouds started coming in, and then it started raining, and then snow right behind that front. And where that ridge is, you have to walk along the ridges, along the top. The ridge is basically the top. This is the base camp. Again, a view of Annapurna. This is Annapurna base camp. That was Mardi Himal base camp. This is Annapurna base camp at 13,600 feet. There's absolutely nothing that grows there. That little bell that you see is dedicated to all the people that died trying to climb the mountain. So anyone that died and didn't make it back is named on that. That's the base camp. That's Macha Picchu looking south. The earlier pictures you saw were from the south looking north. This is south to north. East is that way. It's absolutely beautiful, pristine. You hardly see any people out there. That's Annapurna 1. This is the bell that I was talking about where people's names are there for people that didn't make it back. I'm glad my name is not on that. So from there, I went to Lhasa, Tibet, because I was waiting for my Chinese visa. I was in Kathmandu, so I took this 2-week trip up to Mardi Himal and Annapurna base camp. And I flew to Lhasa to take a 5,000 kilometer road trip to do what's Kailash Kora. That means this navigation around Kailash mountain. What do we call that? Parikrama. EBC is Everest base camp hike. And that's what the Nepalis believe in, Dal Bhat power 24-hour. I'm flying now from Kathmandu south to north to Lhasa, and that's Everest down there in the Chinese Sichuan at 39,000. We're coming into Lhasa, and remember all the brown that I showed you on the north side? This is what the Lhasa Valley looks like.
Vivek, is this, when the snow melted, the water all went to the India side and not to the Tibetan side? Is that the reason it is all brown?
Right. So maybe right after this, I'll answer that. And let me go to Google Earth.
What did you say?
Let me go to Google Earth. I'll explain that in
a minute. Okay.
Okay, so let me just answer that question and go to Google Earth for a minute. So if you look at this map, right, the Himalayas are here at an average height of around 20,000 feet running north to south. This is about 4,000 miles of it, correct? So we get these southern winds that are coming up from the south. The winds bring a lot of moisture from the Indian Ocean, from the Gulf, etc., and from the Arabian Sea down here, and bring it up. And as they bring the trade winds, as they come up, they run into the mountains. They cannot climb over the mountains at that elevation. So the winds run into the mountains and drop the moisture on the south side along this line.
Okay.
So that's why all of it is green down here. Now, if I zoom in a little bit, now this here is Kailash, and this is the Manus Rover Lake. What happens is all the three major river systems that I showed you, they originate here. And I will connect it to the mythological story in a minute. But what happened was about 75 million years ago, when these Himalayas were being formed because of the cross plates running into each other, the tectonic plates, all these river systems was basically one drainage system. But after about 5 million years ago, they split into three different drainage systems, which is the Indus Valley, which is going west. So the western part is the Indus Valley rivers here. This is the Indus River. The Ganges is down here. This is the Ganges. And the Brahmaputra starts out here. It runs on the north side, on the Tibetan side. It goes all along this north, all along the Himalayas from there. It's called the Yangtze River. It goes there, and then turns around in Burma and comes back down here into India out here, and then drains into the Arabian Sea. I mean, if that's not a gift from the gods, I don't know what is. And given this, if you just look at that map, why can't India look at all the greenery that's out here? Why can we not compete as a world power? Look at the rest of us around here. Why can we not compete given this natural resource that we have, other than bad leadership in the country?
Yes.
Right? Yes. And I'm proposing this, I'm positing this in front of all of you guys because you're deep thinkers. Right? And the next war is not going to be fought over nuclear weapons. It's going to be fought over water and food. So I hope I answered that question, but it's for that reason, because the moisture is coming from the south. There is no moisture on the north. The moisture hits the Himalayas and falls down and drains south.
Another question, Vivek.
Yes, sir.
In the city I live in, where we are like 1 mile above the sea level, we have the mountain ranges, we have snow, all of that.
Yes.
Most of the water we drink is the snow melt water.
Yes.
When, so the snow melts at a time.
Correct.
So in this case, in the Himalayas, the snow doesn't really melt then?
It does. So I'll show you examples of that. The water is really melting. So in this region, about 1/3 of the water that's coming, surface water that's coming in, is actually snow melt water for this 1.7 billion that I mentioned. It is actually snow melt.
Okay. So the weirdest thing is, if it is snow melting, it can go on the other side also, right?
Right. But what is happening is because of water mismanagement. Water is a resource that needs to be managed, right?
Right.
When we put in Ganges, we're putting in pollutants, whether chemicals, pesticides, or plain household trash and all that. That water, that evapotranspiration rate that's taking back and bringing it back, right? That water is not being useful. So the aquifer recharges that groundwater needs to take place here is also not happening. You get a lot of deforestation because the area here is poor, right? The energy that they need, they're using wood. So the deforestation has taken place extensively. They're taking wood trees, chopping them down and burning them. So that deforestation is leading to collapse of the soil. So you're getting all these landslides. So it's a complex problem because there are no solutions to tap solar energy for these people. So if any of you thinkers out there can think of tapping solar energy, and I think you must have seen the Ladakh videos, for example, of insulation and solar homes that are being built. If you haven't, please do a search. But conserving water and solar energy would go a long distance in helping this region out.
Nice.
I hope I answered your question. Hello?
Yes, Vivek. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so let's go to the next one. So here I landed in Lhasa Airport, and for the people that think that we need a lot, you see the two backpacks I'm carrying here, guys, the backpack on the back and the day pack in the front. I lived for 6 weeks out of that. And that's what I thought to myself, if I can live 6 weeks out of that, what else do I need? So I've been retired for the last 2 years, but I don't have a car. Surprise, but that's a fact. The lady on the right is my guide's wife. She came to pick me up because, by the way, I didn't go with a group with anybody. I went alone. So everything that I did was cheap, and you'll see why. So she came to pick me up at the hotel, and notice the Chinese flag everywhere on top. The Chinese have basically taken out the Tibetan identity totally. This is Potala Palace, the Dalai Lama's abode. I'm running out of time, I think, right? So let me move a little faster. This is the Sira Monastery.
Vivek, if you want to take a little longer, we are fine. We want to be respectful of your time, but we are, happy to stay longer.
No, I'm okay for time. It's just that I said 20 minutes and I've already gone on it. Okay, so this is called Tangaka Mandala. This is the circle of life. So when I was sitting there with the monastery with the various monks, this thought came to my mind. At the center of this is a cycle of life and death, birth and rebirth, and moksha. When do you get moksha? So the monk pointed me to the center of this. And this is what he showed at the center. It's a bird eating a snake, eating a pig who's trying to eat the bird. The bird is the ego and desire. The snake is envy or jealousy. And the pig is ignorance and anger. So what the monks basically told me is, unless you get these three things in control, you are not going to break the circle and attain moksha. So I'm not a very complex guy. I don't understand complex things. For me, this was easy to understand. So this to me is very important. This was the kernel, the crux of the matter. And again, like I said, the Dalai Lama said, immortality can only be achieved through sharing knowledge, which you guys are doing. This is how the monks evolve. So basically, the guy that's doing the clapping is challenging the monk who is sitting down about various questions about life. And the guy who's sitting down has to think about it, respond. So they debate each other like that and then bubble up and crystallize the most valuable thoughts, which are then transmitted to other people to think about. I just thought I'd share that. This is Lhasa at day and night. So from Lhasa, all of Tibet is at an elevation of about 12,000 feet above sea level. So you require 3 days of acclimatization. And this was a drive across 2,500 kilometers one way to Mount Kailash and then back, and then hiking around Kailash and Mount Everest. So it's the highest city in the world, followed by La Paz in Bolivia. And in China, nothing works. There's no internet, no phones, Big Brother is watching you, cameras everywhere. You can make no move without them watching you. The Tibetan culture is gone, and the infrastructure development is just simply super, as I'll show you. Those are Tibetan dogs. They're called mastiffs. That's an example of the road. There's no return on investment, but they built 6,500 kilometers of this road from the east to the west, all along the Indian border and the Mongolian border. And I'll show it to you in a little bit. This is Yamdrok Lith at 15,000 feet. Notice the word Yama. So this is the glacial belt. It's a freshwater lake, and fish and all that are in there. Don't ask me how they survive at those cold temperatures, but they do. So glacial melt, so you can see the color of the water, aquamarine. That back there, that big rock that you see there, is where the glacier used to be. It's about 200 feet up. And where I'm standing from and taking this video is where the glacier used to be. It's receded that far back.
When you say glacier, isn't glacier basically a independent piece of ice?
Well, the glacier is supposed to be that, which it is, but where I'm standing, right? So the glacier, I'll go back to Google Earth in a minute. But remember, see the sand down here?
Right.
All the sand.
Right.
Remember, I said this was formed by tectonic plates being pushed up on the bottom of the sea, right? That
Right.
sand is evidence of all of that. The alluvial sand and the metamorphic rock, which is volcanic rock. So the glacier is like that, running out from that top there, from the south side. This
It's
is the
just
Rombu
getting interesting
Glacier.
as you go on, sir.
Yeah. So if you look down here, your question that you were asking, see, these are glaciers, right? So this is permafrost. But look what's happening down here. It's all gone, melted. Right? At the elevations we are at about 16,000 to 18,000 feet, and the temperatures that we see, this should not have melted. But this is the evidence that you were asking me just now, Shravan. See that? The glacial melt, it's gone. So this is what leads to the drains. So this again, oops. See this white rock here? This is another melt. I don't know if you can see that, but this is the national, this is the Koro Glacier, Koren Glacier, I think it's called. This white rock is where the glacier used to be, but it has receded that far back. And see the staircase on the right-hand side, which is where they put, so tourists can go up that far and take pictures of the glacier. That's how bad global warming is. Karola Glacier at what, 16, 17,000 feet. So this is the Tashi Lunpo Monastery. This was the second city after Lhasa. It's called Shigatse. And the first Dalai Lama did this in the 15th century, roughly. And to get to that, you have to go through that tunnel that you see on the left-hand side. My backpack got stuck in there, actually, in the tunnel. I had to free it and then go through. But beautiful monastery. So the yak on the left-hand side, everything from clothing to food to milk and all that. And this guy is having a good time. And I'm a guitar player, so I appreciated his music. Remember I said something about alluvial sands and all that? See that sand at 15,000 feet? And those of you that believe in the Eye of Sauron, the left-hand side is the Eye of Sauron. A nice shot. What do these guys do? This is how they live. Now, between the goats and me, we couldn't decide who was smelling more, whether it was the goats that smelled or me, Well, these two guys came up. while I was taking the video, this
What do
guy
they
grabbed
eat,
my
sir?
sandwich. He grabbed my sandwich and took off. So moving onwards, we're driving
What do they
towards.
eat, sir?
Yeah.
There is
sorry.
no grass. There is no grass. What do they eat?
You tell me. I have no idea. So, I mean, this is my point, right? People are living on so little. And I'll show you what we ate, right, in a minute. Is that every single day, I just had this. I went to the temple today and I had sambar and chutney and all that. And people are complaining that they didn't have idlis that day. Anyway, I'm grateful for that. So this is what the drive to Kailash looks like. So it's fine one on the left-hand side. 15 minutes later, it starts snowing. Starts snowing at 5,200 meters, as you can see on the board on the right. So what else are we asking for? At my age especially, the health and relationship, knowing all of you guys as an extended family, that's what matters to me. Everything else is a wave. It really doesn't matter. At my age. At your age, a different perspective. This is Manus Rover. And people are supposed to take a dip in it before they go to Kailash. Manus Rover is a freshwater lake. So you see birds, you can drink the water and the mountains in the back.
How cold is it? I'm guessing the water is really cold.
Well, this is the summer.
That's what I'm about to ask.
This is the summer, so this was June, right before Buddha Jayanti. So the water temperature must have been around 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which is say 2 to 4 degrees centigrade.
Yeah.
4 degrees centigrade.
Yes, it's cold.
Cold.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely better than winter, I guess.
Yeah. So the winter of Manus Rover freezes over at the top, but there's water at the bottom, so the fish still survive.
Yes.
But absolutely beautiful. I mean, God's country.
Yes.
So had I come in
we call
Yes.
Colorado God's country too.
Yeah, true. So if I had come in a group, that's what I would be like with that group that you see there. They take buckets of water, heat it up, and then take a bath, I mean. And you're supposed to clean yourself before you go to Kailash. So this is 108 kilometers around this parikrama around Manus Rover Lake, which is too far for me to have done, so I drove around it. So let me just go to Google Earth for a minute and then go to just interesting story around that. So we are going west now. And those two there, that's on the right-hand side is, this is Manus Rover on the right-hand side. And this is Rakshastal. Rakshastal means lake. And Kailash is there. So the mythological story is, as you guys, as Hindus, most of you probably know this, but there was a nectar that if you drank the nectar, you would become immortal. So the Devas on one side and the Asuras took the Sheshnag and took that Parvat, and they were drilling the sea to get the Parvat Amrut out and to share it. But the gods played a dirty trick on the Asuras and drank the nectar. That made the Asuras very angry and they started fighting. And Kailash, Shivaji was praying, meditating on Kailash. So people were afraid that if Shiva got upset with all this fight, he would open his third eye and the universe would go bhasma. So they said, we need to go pray to Shiva that we are sorry, we don't mean to interrupt his meditation. So the Devas came up and took a bath in Manus Rover, the freshwater lake. That is why it is blessed and it is freshwater. The Asuras who do not agree with the gods took a dip in the Rakshastal. Rakshastal is an endoric lake. That is, it does not drain. The water only evaporates. So as a result of evaporation, the salt in the water just concentrates. Hence, anything that comes into it dies. Whereas Manus Rover, being a freshwater lake, lake spills over and the excess spills into Rakshastal, which is getting the feed from Manus Rover. And through transpiration, the water is going out, but it is a salty lake. And that's where things die. So what is the connection between this mythology of Rakshas and Devas and scientific fact that one is a salt water and the other is not? I don't know, but that's what it is. So moving forward, the Devas and Asuras then go to Shankar and pray to him and pray to calm him down. So Ganga comes from heaven and falls into his jata and flows out through there. That is why all the drainage basins of all the rivers around the Himalayas are from this part of the world. Even if we say Gangotri is in India, technically geoscientists have said it is from Manus Rover. So what is mythology? What is science? I don't know, but this is what I saw factually. So I'm just sharing that with you guys for what it's worth. So we're now moving to the Kailash Parikrama itself. So I just explained that Kailash is to the north. So Darshan is on the south there, which is the main entrance, and you go from left to right and see the Yamadwara, which is the first thing after Tarboshe. You climb up to Dirapuk, and then you go up to this Dolmala Pass at the very top. It's 5,600 meters. And Gauri Kund, which we call Gauri Kund, it's called Tuoji Lake. And then you camp out along there and then come down to Zutulpuk on the right-hand side and then back. This is a 52-kilometer yatra around Kailash. And that small thing that you see in front of Kailash, it's called Nandi Mountain. It's at 6,000 meters. So when you get to Darshan town and you look south, this is what you see. And you see all the communist flags. Now in the morning, this is a pre-dawn hike. I'm hiking from Darshan to, this is a 3-day hike, 52-kilometer parikrama of Kailash. This is day one, starting out about 20 kilometers, took me about 9 hours, and that's what the view looks like before morning. Om Namah Shivaya.
Vivek, we are, okay, now we see the slides. Okay. Om Namah Shivaya. We see that slide.
So the cone that you see there in the background is basically Kailash. South to north looking towards Kailashji, and north to south looking towards the Trans-Himalayas. So in the Google Earth that I showed you, you got the main Himalayas, and about 50 to 200 miles north of that in Tibet are the Trans-Himalayas. These are smaller mountains that were pushed out, again, as a clash of the tectonic plates. But the beauty is, the pictures don't do justice. So there are 4 religions out there: Hinduism, Buddhism, Jains, and Bons. All of them believe in Shivji. And by the way, I've seen this all the way to China and Vietnam. I've gone backpacking all over that Far East, and you see this Shiva and Ganapati and all that all the way to the Far East. And Afghanistan, as you know. So this is called Yamadwara, and in the back is Shiva. And you have to go through Yamadwara because essentially what it meant was you hope you come back. There's no guarantee that you would in the old days. And Kailash Kora means circumnavigation, the parikrama. That's what it looks like. And you're hiking there through all this.
Vivek, you said 4 religions. One is Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism, and what is the 4th one? Oh, Bon.
Bon.
What is Bon?
Bon is a religion. It's like Jains, but they all believe in Shiva.
Oh, nice.
So that is Kailashji looking from southwest view. So now I'm continuing to walk, as you can see, at daylight, right? And evening, this is day 1 of the hike. And the interesting thing about this, as you're hiking, right, the guide told me, Namgil, he told me, think of all the people who could not come on this trip. And of course, I was the only one that I know, right, amongst my circle. So he said, every time you think of their name and you say Om Namah Shivaya, you're essentially bringing them along with you on that. So I had my phone with me, and I went through my contacts, and unfortunately, I didn't know you guys then. I went through every name, Om Namah Shivaya, name Om Namah Shivaya. So technically, they also came on the journey with me. Again, what are these guys up to? I will answer that question in a minute. So this is what I was living on, the ramen noodles, which most of you may have had. You basically boil the water there, which is coming from the streams, put it up in that, and ramen noodles and yak. Remember the yak jerky, which is dried yak meat? So yak meat and ramen noodles and water. That was my diet. And because of the high altitude, right, you have to take high altitude, what's called Diamox pills. Because acclimatization at altitude, I forgot to tell you that. What happens is the brain, because of the lack of oxygen at that level, right, your lungs are working about 50% more because the oxygen content is partial pressure is about 1/3 lower. So because of Boyle's law, you have to work twice as hard to get the same amount of intake. So your breathing actually goes. So what happens is the brain tells your body you have to lose weight to keep your metabolic rate down, your kinetics down. To do that, it tells the body that you have to urinate, lose the water, and lose appetite so you don't feel hungry and you don't load up your stomach with more weight. That is the body's reaction. So to alleviate that, you have to drink lots of water. So you have to take the water from the stream, put iodine tablets in it, wait half an hour, drink, move. But you see the rest of the people there, basically nothing. They're living on ramen noodles. I'm sure you've seen this, but absolutely true. And I didn't know this until I went on that trip, that I had to look inside of myself. What did I really value? What was important to me? This was Buddha Jayanti 2019, 2.5 years ago, looking at Kailash at that moment. This was 1 o'clock or so in the morning. And you cannot sleep because the brain says tossing and turning. You cannot sleep because there's not enough oxygen. Early morning. And this is the second day, starting out on the second hike for another 19-20 kilometer hike. Coming up to Dolmala Pass, this is around 19,000 feet, roughly 5,900 meters. And that's what it is. You're just going straight up. So this is called a sky burial. These Tibetan flags, what the Tibetans believe in, unlike Hindus, for example, if you die, they take you up and leave your body on the mountain. So depending on what you did during the lifetime that you were alive, if you're a good person, the birds will come and eat your flesh and only bones will be left. But if you're a bad person, even the birds will not eat your flesh. How deep is that? This is that lake that I talked about. And you're basically hiking through this wilderness. The beauty is just unimaginable. And as you can see, there's no path there. You got a map and you're traveling with the map. You only live once. Just choose a path, keep going. Old people are doing it. And the kids on the right-hand side, they're just wearing plain sneakers. I was wearing hiking shoes. They're wearing plain sneakers and doing it. And it's all faith. So once you come off that 19,000 and you're cutting down to around 17,000, it becomes a little better because you're going through the valley. Another monastery, another sleepless night, but gorgeous beauty. Another 12, 13-hour trek. What do you think is on the left-hand side? It's a shot of the ground, and you need to see what it is. And these are carvings in the rocks that the Tibetans have done. This is faith. This is belief. Every fourth step every fourth step. Look at the pain in the man's eyes. It made me cry then. This is 52 kilometers of the trip that I did walking on my 2 feet. They do this every fourth step. They go full Sashtang Namaskar because they believe in Shiva, they believe in Buddha, and that's what they were told in their scriptures to go around. And no expectation in life. All they have is what you see. There's no food with them, no nothing. If it snows, if it rains, they get wet, they get damp, they're miserable, but their faith drives them. How lucky are we? So from Darshan now, we're going to Everest Base Camp. What you see are the Buddhist flags there. And on the flags, there are scriptures. The Buddhist scriptures are written on that. And the flags are fluttering in the wind. For those of you that don't know it, I asked people, why are the scriptures on the flags and why are they fluttering in the wind? So the monk tells me, so that when the air flows over the scriptures, the impure air will get purified, and as it comes down at us, we breathe purified air. So our thoughts become purer. That is the philosophy that goes into writing scriptures on the flags, to purify the air that we breathe. Driving to Mount Everest. I'm sorry, I'm taking up a lot of time here, so let me just move on. This is Kumulangma, which stands for Everest Base Camp. So we've driven about 1,800 kilometers back southwest. And this is some of the infrastructure that the Chinese have put together. Do you think India is capable of doing that? Look on the right-hand side. They've cut through the mountains, and this is what they've laid out. What return on investment are they getting on this capital? But the Chinese are doing that. If they wanted to, they could come in today into Nepal, just drive over, because they've got such fantastic infrastructure out there. That's all highway down there. So this is the Rongbu Monastery. This is close to Everest Base Camp. So from here you hike about 12 kilometers to the base camp. This is the Rongbu Monastery.
Vivek,
yes, sir.
Maybe one of these days we could have a talk with you, because I really believe the reason Chinese are able to do this is because money really has no value. There is no need for return on investment. We are just we created this whole thing called return of investment. It is basically transfer of money or movement of money that is needed. So maybe one of these days we could have a talk, and maybe even, I don't know. Do you agree with that, first of all?
Why don't we park that thought for a minute? We'll just finish through this and then we'll come back to that.
Okay.
So this is close to base camp. I'm finishing up. So this Everest Base Camp is about 5,200. It's about 16,000, 17,000 feet. And on the right-hand side, that yellow dot, I was just below the yellow dot. So if you were climbing Everest from the Tibetan side, not the Nepali side, the red line is what you would follow. And on the right-hand side, the final dashed line is what's called the death zone. You have to go from that final yellow dot up and back down in the same day. And that is where most people die climbing Everest. Obviously, I was not prepared for that because mountaineering is a different skill. But the yellow dot down bottom is where I had hiked to. This is about, like I said, 12 or 16 kilometer hike. That is Everest looking from the south. Nepal is on the north, on the other side of the mountain. This is in the evening. They're even building a highway out there. Again, Everest. This is getting later at night. Later at night. The clouds are disappearing and you can see it's getting to be a much more clearer image. This is like 9 or 9:30 at night. Because of the latitude, right? How far north I am. The latitude, you cannot, the daylight is very extended period, like 14 hours and stuff. That's the monastery, and sleeping there with Everest in the background. Late night. I mean, God's creation, the universe is absolutely mind-boggling. And this is day before the sun rise. The sun is coming up stronger. No wind. This is pretty early in the morning, around 6:30 in the morning. But the Chinese are building that road even to the base of Everest. I don't know how far they're going to go. I don't know what their plan is. And there's that moon. Remember, I said because of the latitude, the moon doesn't move that much. The relative position stays about the same. Again, the shot of the moon there, just to show the changes in a few degrees because of the latitude. And I intentionally went to Lhasa because I wanted to see Everest from the north looking south, because when you're in Nepal, looking from the Nepalese side, that is looking from south to north, you cannot see it because there are mountains that obstruct that. This was a little later in the morning, around 8 o'clock or so. Anyway, let me stop there. This was my guide, Namjil. Now I'm returning back to Lhasa from Kathmandu. So going north to south. This is that ridge that you were seeing. That ridge. So back to Kathmandu, Pashupatinath, which is Shivaji's temple there, and Muktinath, which I didn't show you. Muktinath is on the western side of Nepal. So in summary, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, today is destiny. Make it happen, and you guys already got it. And that's my email if you guys want to stay in touch with me. And I'd love to talk to some of you about what's happening at OUCT in particular, because I have some thoughts about what I would like to do for OUCT as an alumni, and I need your help in getting things done at OUCT because you're there physically and your views are important to me. So that's my email address. I'll play that one more time. The Goswami is a Y, not an I, at hotmail.com. So with that, let me minimize that.
Vivek, you mentioned that you had a, you had a, is it called, what is the word, epiphany or a
Epiphany, yeah.
Epiphany? Could you, is that when you saw that older lady, or was it something else?
No, it wasn't instantaneous. It was over that entire 6-week period. I mean, we have traveled all over the world pretty much. Right. But the thing is, it never occurred to me because I was busy working.
Right.
That IPO, when I was doing the IPO, I was under extreme pressure. So I needed a break. That's why I went out there. And it was when I was out there, I said to myself, I looked at all these people, they're so happy. You know, in the tent I showed you, people shared their meat with me. They didn't have anything there to eat, right? But they shared their food with me. And I'm saying to myself, here these guys are so poor, and yet they're sharing their stuff with me. And I, who have everything, all I'm doing is a moaner and groaner, right? I'm crying. So what am I doing this for? Nobody cares, whether I do a great job or not. I said, the heck with this. I don't need to do this. So that occurred over some time period. But it was when I was walking around Kailash. That's when I think there's some connection. I cannot describe it. I've climbed other mountains. I've climbed taller peaks. But it didn't occur to me. It didn't happen. But it happened at Kailash. What is it? I don't know. Maybe I'm a Hindu. Maybe I'm a believer. Faith. I didn't plan the trip. It happened. So epiphany for me is that entire duration. But what am I doing this for? And that's when I stopped. We launched the IPO. I quit, came back, and that was it. So now I do these kind of things and trying to build something for society, give back. So that was my moment of epiphany, if you will. But more importantly, the message for you guys, I'm one of you. I came from nothing. And I'm going to go back to nothing. Right? Fine, I've accomplished a few things. But I did that because I had a laser-like focus. And my message to you guys is everything is possible. All you have to do is say that I'm going to do this, I'm focused on it, and I'm going to do it. And do it with a good heart, not with the intent. I've never done anything for money. And I tell my kids and everybody, don't do things for money. If you're doing it for money, it's the wrong thing. Do it because you like it and because you think certain good is going to come out of it. If you're good at what you do, the money will follow. And it has happened to me. And I can assure you, there are lots of other people who share that same sentiment. So my takeaway for you guys is, you guys have dreams. Keep dreaming, but you need to act. Yes. Keep a technical background, because arts and all is well and good, but unfortunately, I'm a musician too. But if I had been a musician, believe me, I would have starved to death. So stay grounded, work with people, accept who you are, and work hard. You will come up, you will succeed, you will achieve what you want to do. And I'm happy to help you guys in whatever I can. So let me shut up. I've talked too much.
Guys, shall I cap?
Yes.
That's it. No. I'm happy to answer questions.
What did you say,
Firstly, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Divya.
I'm happy to answer questions.
Sir, firstly, thank you so much for your presentation. I'm in imagination, I was touching the water and I stand in the top of the mountain and I'm shouting my loudly voice. It was an imagination world, sir. Thank you so much. And I want to share one thing that I'm NCC cadet, and I have the chance to participate in the trekking. Due to COVID, that camp is cancelled. It's our bad luck. And I have a question that in camp we faced many difficulties, and there are many best moments are there. But what is the greatest fear you faced in the camp?
Oh, greatest fear? I mean, look, I went 2 years ago. I was 62 years old, right? I don't know if I was going to come back. I'm taking a trip right now. I'm going to Antarctica and Patagonia. I'm 64 now. I'm going to go to Antarctica and Patagonia. So there's a fear about everything. I could get hit by a bus, right? But you need to overcome your fear. So is there a fear? I don't know if there's a fear, because out there in the wild, I can tell you, you're much better off being there than for me being downtown Houston, for example, or in Mumbai. I don't know what's going to happen to me. That scares me more than being out there. I've been out in Nagarhole, for example, in Kabini. I've been out in Mysore and Karnataka and all out in the tiger forest and all that alone. No problems. But when you run into human beings, that's where the biggest problem, because you don't know how they're going to react, what people's intentions are. Out there, no problem.
Thank you, sir. Divya, if you have any question, you can.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Really, such a great sceneries, and you have visited it directly, but we have seen it virtually. There are many questions to ask, but first, we have lots of questions to you. But I want to ask you that whether you have time to talk with us, or shall we have another call for that?
No, I'm okay. We can talk. No problem.
Yeah. Um, Vivekta, you go with that question. I will be back. Go ahead,
Thank you
Vivekta.
so much. Thank you so much, Divya. So, first of all, sir, your presentation was another level. Like Swapna said, we were living in those imagination world with you. It just felt like I was traveling with you. I have been part of your journey also. It was that amazing. And the pictures, the sceneries, the water, the mountains. Oh my god, it was all amazing. Uh, and I have always wished of traveling like that in those places. So, I mean, first of all, how do you feel, sir? How does it feel after traveling?
It opens your mind, because unless you go out there and explore, right, it makes you a different person. Even when I was in Hyderabad, I was at OUCT, right? We would typically get out there and try to go to Nagarjuna Sagar or Golconda Fort or do various things. And you have to be learning constantly, exploring, doing new things. If you don't do that, you're not growing as a human being. So for me, even when I was in India, I'd get up and go somewhere. So I've done that lifelong. For me, I've got to keep learning. And whether it's music or photography or books or whatever, right? So you need to do that. And luckily, I had supportive parents, who agreed with me and sort of let me go out and explore, all of us actually. So that helped.
And I mean, people usually say that when we usually go to like trips of this kind, we tend to rediscover ourselves. So how was that feeling? Did you also feel like that?
Well, I said that epiphany, right? I'm a capitalist. I mean, I'm a day trader. I still trade stocks every day. But I'm so laser focused on money, right? Getting to where I am. I mean, doing this IPO and all that I said. When I was doing engineering, I was so focused on being the best engineer. I forgot about everything else. But going on this is where you discover that, hey, what am I doing this for? And that's what the process of discovery is. But when I see your thoughts, right, I see your presentation that you guys did. Obviously, you guys have a lot more. Remember, you guys have a lot more resources today than when I had 45 years ago. When I used to write a letter, it would take 2 months for the letter to go from here to India, for example, or from India to US. Right now, it's instantaneous. So you can use that and waste all this time just doing nothing, exploring, or you can explore areas of interest and be the best at that.
Wow, that was amazing, sir. Thank you.
Vinayana, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Swapna and Divya, for hosting the session.
Muted, I think.
And oh, am I not audible? Hello?
You're audible, Anna.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Vivek sir, for that wonderful presentation and taking us on a virtual tour to Mount Everest. And I really loved the gesture that you have done after reaching the peak. Like after reaching the peak, you might have just said, "Yes, I am here. I have come all the way by facing all the challenges, and I am here." But you recited all the names of your in your phone book, right? That's so touching because you wanted every one of us to everyone in your network to experience the same. uh, I got so connected with that, and also with the like you are just there is one sentence that you mentioned while when you gave the reply to the write up, right sir? You want to fire up all the young minds. You just did it. You just did it with the presentation. Thank you so much. Like everyone will have that spiritual side of us, or the like self realization side of us, which we want to experience in our lifetime. Maybe after retirement, or maybe after having seen a kind of world. But I always feel like that should be done even before retirement, like before 60s, because if you experience something in 60s, there will be only less time to uh, put that experience into the action. But what if we make the students independent, but with this all the material world, and make them experience the same? Like you just ignited all our brains towards that unlocking our higher self with the presentation. And also, as you mentioned about your observations of they are only living on the meager like resources and all. Yes, that's how the life is, and that's what we are all living for, right? But we just go into that greedy mode and all, and just keep on creating the problems. I just love the way you created a epiphany for those 6 weeks. And maybe this is a deep question, I don't know, but I just feel like you have done all the chemical engineering thing. You have been into finance, and then went into Kailash, and then got into this mode, right sir? So if a young man like me want to do something with his life, can I go before 30 to Himalayas and get some kind of realization, not a realization to your extent, but get some kind of realization and come back and then apply it? Is it possible, or should I only plan to go it after 50s?
Well, I think what I was trying to get at, my wife tells me this, and I put that one slide about Google Khoje, Bing Khoje. You got to look within, right? You don't need to go to the Himalayas. It just happened to me that that's where it was. But you have to look internally deeply and say, what are the values that are important to me? If money is the important thing, so be it. At your age, I fully understand and appreciate that, and I laud that. So be it. If you want to do money, go after money, but do it in an ethical way. Don't do it in an unethical way. In India, and perhaps elsewhere also, everywhere also, people tend to go to unethical ways to do that. Let's not do that. We can make money ethically. We can accumulate wealth. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely, do it. But realize how much of the wealth are you going to eat? You cannot eat biryani every single day. You require to have salads to go with the biryani. So at some point, should you start sharing or not? I have been sharing. I've never cared for biryani, by the way. I never cared for money. I told you that, right? I like to have a good time. But my point in all of this is the realization came where I stopped it totally. You should not stop. At your age, where you guys are, you need to proceed. Whether it is education, money, art, athletics, love. If you love someone that you like, by all means, go for it. Do it. Your parents may not be opposed to that. But remember, it's your choice. You got to live with the decision that you make and enjoy the rewards or the consequences, but do it ethically and do it with a willingness, thinking about the 7 billion other people that are out there. The world will be a better place. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying don't go to, you need to go to Kailash or Himalayas. No. You could go to Charminar and say, hey, I've climbed Charminar, I've got it. So be it. So do things ethically, morally, and keeping those things that I said, right? The three things about the ego, desire, anger, etc. Keep those things under control. We'll all be better off. I didn't know that when I was growing up. I know it now. So too late for me, but for you guys.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
But by the way, I forgot to tell you what was the cost of this trip, right? So 6 weeks, you're thinking, man, this guy has got a lot of money to go out there and get on planes and do all that. So it was $2,000 for 6 weeks, including airfare, guides. How much is $2,000? 1.5 lakhs? Roughly 1.4 lakhs? Right?
Yes, you're right.
So 1.4 lakhs, I don't know how much that is. I don't know, where India stands right now. As a student, I couldn't clearly afford that. I mean, at this age, I can. But 1.4 lakhs, I think in today's day and age, is not a whole lot of money. For 6 weeks, huh?
Yes.
Including airfare, food, lodging, hotels, equipment, everything.
Yes.
So I was living like a shoestring, So by the way, I'm a backpacker, okay? Even though we can afford to go stay at fancy hotels, I'm a backpacker in the sense I carry what's called Lonely Planet Guide. I don't know if you heard of it. Lonely Planet is a series of books written by backpackers who basically live on $2, $3 a day. On 100, 200, you've seen them all over India, right? They're bums basically. So I'm one of them.
We are actually, Sunita and I, we are actually considering that. We are thinking in about few years. We are thinking slowly. We are trying to get rid of everything and just carry everything in our backpack and go. So that is the next one of our ideas of our next journey in life. Go ahead, Tejashree, all yours.
Teja akka.
Looks like she froze.
Kranti.
Yes, Swapna. Thank you, Vivek, sir. Thank you, Vivek, sir. Like, we came to know about your talk from before 2 days. From that day onwards, we are very excited to know from you about the raising of the imagination level. Just like that, our imagination levels are raised because we seen the pictures which are captured by you. Maybe if you take those pictures from the Google, we can't get that, we can't connect it that much, sir. Like, you shown your pictures and you made us to pay attention towards that. And your fighters are like the leeches on your legs, they like they observe our blood even though you walked for 15 to 20 kilometers per day. And you said about that old woman who is giving the tea for the 10 rupees, and even though she is alone, like she is staying, you made us to learn many things, sir, for today. And we came to know about the Annapurna 3 and last shelter, which is 1200 feet, like just you mentioned in today's talk. As we don't know about those all before the talk, just we read in our social textbooks in our past earlier years, but we hadn't remembered those. And we came to know about the one new religion too, which is you mentioned, where those places they live, like born Jains all believe in Shiva. That is also for us a new learning, sir, today. And I have you raised a question for us like that Manuses are over, and one more that Rakshasas are over, which are both are somewhat near, but one is the salt water and one is fresh water. Maybe there might be a reason, but we don't know about that. So we will try to explore in Google to know about that. Is there any might behind that or any scientific reason? We will try to know about those too, sir. And and you mentioned that lungs will work 50% more in that region. So you said that we should keep the iron tablets in a water for an half an hour. Sir,
I
is we should carry iron tablets to there too, sir. I-
yeah.
If we don't have, if we not use the iron tablets in water, did we get any problems? If like you, I think you took those with you. If the iron tablets complete, um, is we can drink those water directly or not, sir?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably drink that, but because my system, I did not want to take the risk and get sick, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no medical facilities, correct? You saw the pictures.
Yes, sir. Ah, yes, sir.
There's no medical facilities within, for a long distance, for 1 day's journey.
Mm.
So I could not afford
Yes,
to
sir.
get sick.
Thank you for saying about Sustan Namaskar too, sir. And thank you, sir. I think you will enjoy Antarctica and Patagonia journey too, and we will wait for your presentation again. We will know about those two. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, but my message and all of that, Kranti, I guess, is that the destinations are
Yes,
good.
sir.
They fire up the imagination, but ultimately, it is the challenges that come in day to day, right?
Yes, sir.
You have to overcome the challenges. And for that, you require the strength and the focus. I mean, it
Yes,
may
sir.
sound easy, right? But when you're at 15,000 feet or 16,000 feet, low on oxygen, low on food, low on water, to do 52 kilometers in a circle when the temperatures are at 2 degrees, 4 degrees, the wind is going at 30 miles or 40 miles an hour, right? To stay focused and keep your
Yes.
mind on that one step at a time, right?
Yes, sir.
That is the concentration that you require to stay on it. So whether you're taking a chemical engineering exam in reaction kinetics or simulation or in thermodynamics or in transport phenomena, that focus that you require to stay that, hey, I'm going to overcome this. And somebody tells you no, if you applied for a job or you're out there trying to say, okay, I want to interview with company X or I want to do Y, I want to get this job, do that. Or I want a scholarship to go to the US or go to Canada or whatever. And if somebody's telling you no, you have to have that focus to say that I'm going to do it. By golly, I will do it. That's what I'm getting at. The message may be fine. You went and climbed a mountain. Okay, big deal. The message is that at heart, do things that matter, stay focused on it, stay true to yourself, do it ethically. That's the message. The mountain and all that just, okay, happen to be there.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Tejaka.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So first of all, that was amazing presentation. I think beautiful presentation. Every picture dragged me over there, and I was planning for a trip for entire my team. And I just wanted to, I just thought to ask the question, how much it financially cost you for that trip, so that I can make for whole trip. But yeah, you just answered that. Thank you. And the overall experience, just feeling in that emotion, I was always thinking that this is only the way we can live, but you just dragged me into different world, that there are something which is huge and out. Just go and look at the world. Oh, there are so many things, not only in the same country but two in different, and in our country too there are uh, you just gave me so many clarifications on my doubts, and I feel at the end you told no, there's so many things you have told. Just open your up mind, just be technically good at something. And one of the most important one thing which really dragged me is laser like focus. How does it count for one particular person? You said that you are laser like how you are that focused on that particular time, and you have done this along with your trading and all. So how you that focused? Just wanted to know,
Okay,
sir.
that's a very good question. I think, how does one develop the focus? You're right. I told you I was a backbencher. I still am a backbencher. I'm not the best student. But things that interest me, right? Like music. I taught myself how to play basically all of music, whether keyboards, the guitars, or drums, and whatever. I taught myself. But the enablers, the people who supported me, who made it happen, I mentioned my parents, right? When I was in India, I left when I was your age. I graduated in 79 and I left India in 79. And I came here in 79 to go to college here on the scholarship. My parents, my mother was the one. My father said, no, don't go on that. Because if you go, who's going to take care of us in old age in India? But my mother said, no, go. You have your destiny, fulfill your destiny. So my mother encouraged me. She said, go. So I left because I'd never gone outside of India before in my life. Yeah. And after I came here, I was pretty wild. I had girlfriends here. So was I focused? No. I was making a lot of money, but I was living a good life. But I got married, and then I realized that, hey, wait a minute, I'm married now. I have to take care of my wife, and if something were to happen to me, who's going to take care of her? So I shifted that, and my priority was my wife, my partner. And my wife is a medical doctor, but she gave up her career because we said we want to focus with our kids. And she said, I will look after the kids. You go work. Whether you make $2 or 20,000, it doesn't matter. We're going to live on the same thing that we used to live in India, which is what we do even today. So regardless of the money we make, we live like we got nothing. Not like nothing. I mean, we live well. But she was the most important supporter and continues to be my foundation on which everything is built. So you require enablers. Like Shravan has put together this team. He's a fantastic enabler, mentor to make this happen. You're supporting each other. So you require partners in success. You cannot build success on your own. You have to have a team. So the enablers are, to answer your question, that laser-like focus came because my wife took care of me and my putting food on my table when I came home. I went for 1.5 years. I was working 16 hours a day for 1.5 hours, 1.5 years, without a single day break, not one day break. But I wrote what is called the crude pricing strategy, how crude oil should be produced and where it should be marketed and why worldwide and how pricing should be done. I was the architect of that. For 1.5 years. Could I have done that on my own? No, because my wife was taking care of that for me. There was food on the table when I came home at night, and even right now, she takes care of me. So that's what helps. You require a team, whether your parents, your friends, or your spouse. That's what makes it happen. You cannot do it alone. I cannot claim alone.
I think we need to give a big round of applause to your mother who believed in you and made a uh, made you possible your journey, and also to your wife for giving you full respect and believed in your dream. Very hats off, sir, for them.
No,
And you
thank you for
really
doing that.
remembered me that.
Yeah, we should be grateful, and I'm grateful for all my blessings. Trust me. I'm grateful for this conversation we are having because you're feeding into me, and I'm hopefully providing some feed for you guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Rohit.
Yeah. So even it's 2 hours, but I would like to have this point. So first of all, thank you very much, sir. Actually, I started my journey when this talk started, and I ended too now. So thank you. So enablers, as you said, so we enable each other. Like as Shawan sir started this initiation, and we also enable each other with messages or with words that acts as a motivate or driving force for the entire day. So this is something, and you say best last benches. I think APJ says right. The best brains of the nations are found in the last bench of the class. So I think you are the one among them. And when you started, it's one of the points. And when you started, I am a chemical engineer looking at fundas like fundamentals and technical. That word really made me feel ecstatic. Like what I feel we have when we hear a chemical. I'm a chemical engineer. So thank you for that words. And you have covered number of points. Like when we relate things with what we study, like so as we say chemical engineering is all around, I think in Himalayas too. So what did you observe, how far you related just a point of inquiry, I would say, how far we can relate chemical engineering with Himalayas, mountains, river flows. So there are a lot of fluid mechanics, I think, no slip conditions when the river is flowing through the rock. So number of relations we can make out of that. But how far did you make it, or let's want to know from you.
Sure. I mean, whether you take, for example, geotechnical, right? All of petroleum engineering, like reservoir simulation and all that. So if you look at all the hydrology, is basically a transport phenomena, right? It's water flowing through a rock, through porous rock, and modeling all of that. So things of that nature, even meteorological modeling, for example, air modeling, right? Air quality modeling, all the stuff about rainwater coming in and bringing rain and dropping it down in the Himalayas, all that is modeling. But the real world applications of that, right? For all the people that are living there, remember I said they have no source of energy to cook food, no source of energy for heat in the winter. So simple question as chemical engineers, when we get these solar panels, for example, how can we build solar? Lighting, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but a simple solution for light at night is you take this Pepsi bottle, fill it with water, and put in a disinfectant, a biocide into it, and the bottle is inserted from the roof, from the ceiling, it's suspended like that, and the roof is closed. But what happens is, because half the bottle is sticking outside the roof, the light comes in and is diffracted through the bottom, providing natural light into the house, right? So this is the roof, right? It's all dark here, but the light hits it over here and then diffracts through here, and you get lights inside. So it's a simple solution that is being used at those elevations. So rainwater harvesting, for example, the nearest stream of water, maybe a 2-kilometer walk for the lady to take the bucket or the matka and walk. What solutions can we provide as engineers for them for water harvesting? So for example, on a thatched roof, right, what they do is they will have a thatched roof and they will have a catchment like that. So as engineers, what solutions can we provide? Whether it is energy or shelter or food, growing food at those elevations. Is there a crop variety that we can think of? Assist our agrarian friends. If you have an agricultural background, what food can we grow at those elevations? So these are examples of things that you guys can do.
I think we can plan one more talk for that. It longs for an hour. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
So, Vivek, uh, thank you so much for everything. We will, end the call right now, but definitely I want to have a call with you someday about this, because I do not really believe in the ROI thing. And I really think that ROI was created in a way to keep poor people poor, keep poor systems poor. It's all the story that we created, and that story need to change. And that story is what we are trying to do. We have something called Thop Money Talks. where we are trying to understand money, so that way we can become good storytellers about what money can do, how to create our dreams, how to create a society where uh, each person is respected for who they are. uh, so we are thinking about creating a moneyless society, and I know these are all really big goals, but we do believe we have to start somewhere, and we are starting now. It might take 50 years, it might take 100 years, but we do, but it has to start somewhere. So someday, let us have a call. I want to really pick your brain on how China is able to create this rapid infrastructure, whereas we are not able to do it. India is not able to do it. And so I hope you will, we can have that call soon, or when you come back from Patagonia and Antarctica and everything.
Sir,
Someone
should
is
I?
raising a question.
Yes, sir. I will present gratitude card.
Can I just ask a quick request for you guys, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. I think what I wanted to do at the college, Shravan, was I think like you and I talked about. I've been in touch with Dr. Basavarao, but perhaps if I can talk to a few of you folks, if you all can email me in the next few days, I'd like to maybe chat with you all offline and get some feedback about what needs to be done at the college. So there are two things that the college has mentioned to me. One, they said in terms of physical structure for the building and all that, and something for the students. I believe in merit. I believe in scholarship. And I'd like to work on that angle and see what is out there, because I don't know what's out there. I've been to Hyderabad to the college only once after 79. That was in 2019, February. That was it. I have not been back to, 2020 February, sorry, last year, before the shutdown. So I don't really know what's going on. So I guess what I'm asking is, can I email you, or can some of you email me? I would like to chat with you all and understand what's going on at the college and how I can personally help the college right now within the next few months. If you can please, a few of you all reach out to me, would be great. You have my email address.
Sure, sir. We'll do that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Right, Swapna.
Yes.
Vivek, you and I could have a talk with, because I've been associated with the college for 4 years. So I have, we can talk as well.
Sir, can you see the?
Yeah, what I wanted to
Can
do
you
is
see?
hear from. Yeah, I wanted to hear from current students directly in terms
Right.
of what their views are. And yes, of course, I'm going to talk to you about that. But see what we can do, because our batch is doing about some things, but I don't know what's. You hear directly from the students, and of course, we'll do it based on that. Yeah,
Absolutely.
sorry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Go ahead, Swapna.
Sir, can you see the slide?
No.
One second.
Meanwhile, I will be speaking. Thank you so much, Vivek sir, for this wonderful talk. You made us realize many things, and it's great. And we are really blessed to hear you. Your journey, your story, your energy. Thank you for introducing us you, which we all have become fans for you. Thank you, speaker, Shravan sir, and everyone for attending and making it graceful section. Loved it fully. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaskaram to everybody.
Shall I bring out the gratitude card?
Go ahead,
Shall I?
Swapna. Yes. Yes, Swapna. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Vivek sir, for giving us a. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, Swapna, we can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Vivek sir, for giving us a wonderful talk. We just got inspired from the way you have been talking throughout the slides. I know for sure we can't get out of slides for days because it's an emotion for us to dream big, and you shown us a big dream of love. Thank you so much, sir. We loved your smile. Top gratitude team.
Vivek, we have a gratitude team, and we actually send several hundred gratitude cards per week to people all around. So, gratitude is one of our core values that we work on every single day.
I think one doesn't need gratitude and all that, guys. I mean, I'm so happy to be talking one-to-one with you folks, right? And all I hope for is that, if not most of you, at least one of you takes it to heart. And, the sky's the limit. You can achieve anything. Just do it ethically, whatever you like. And that's my message. It's as simple as that,
Thank you.
But I'm great. Yeah, thank you for reaching out, and I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek.
Hey, shall you have a screenshot?
I think
Can everyone come on the video?
But my point is that it's all gone. It's going away. And is it real? Absolutely. And I'll show you that through Google Earth in a minute. So maybe let me just go to that again. Hey, I hope I'm not boring you guys,
No, sir.
No,